What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, even Z-level villains deserve the spotlight sometimes. Just break out the largest bottle of Visine you've ever seen for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering Zone 4. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant Fowler.
And I'm John Wilson, and that's it.
That's all?
That's it. No one else is here.
Just us two, and man, I believe this is the first time we've had less than 4 since, man, I don't even remember the last time we had less.
Beginning, yeah, wow.
I think it's at least been since before this year, definitely.
It would have to be.
Yeah, it was before the big celebratory episode that we added all the new cast. So the last time we only had 2 though, man, you're talking like 100 episodes ago.
I know.
It's crazy, but no, we had a slight change of plans. We had a cast set for this week, and that particular cast had to be pushed back a week. And our other castmates, some of them are dealing with other stuff and couldn't make it, and it was too short a notice to get anybody else for this week. But we decided, John and I had a topic we were going to talk about that I'm sure the rest of the cast wouldn't have been able to contribute to anyway. So it's all good.
I know.
But no, I mean, it's cool. Just me and John chatting. It's been a while since we've done this, since the days of the recap when we were doing it. Right.
Everybody's life got on serious smackdown.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely true. So it's going to be a fun show, though. It's going to be all Marvel, basically, but we'll get into that in a minute. Before we do have a sponsor this week, actually a couple.
Sponsor of the week.
So first of all, Derby City Comic Con, taking place on June 28th and 29th in Louisville, Kentucky. I'll be there. John will be there.
I'll be there.
Chuck will be there. And
he kind of has to.
Yeah, he kind of. Yeah. It'd be kind of weird if he wasn't, but everything would fall apart. But no, tons of guests. I think over 100 creators. Robert Venditti, Mark Waid, a bunch of heavy hitters, panels, all kinds of cool stuff going on. You can learn all the info at derbycitycomiccon.com. Chuck will be on the show not next week, but the week after, and that'll be, what, a week, 2 weeks before the show? A week before, maybe.
A week before, yeah, I think so.
So he'll definitely be talking up the show at that point, so it's going to be fun. We'll talk a lot more about Derby City. But yeah, check out all the info there. We've been plugging it for a few weeks now, so hopefully you guys that are in the area or the tri-state area can come down and see us all. There you go. And our second sponsor this week is a comic called Sidekicks that was funded on Kickstarter back in February. You may recall us mentioning it once or twice on the show back then. The book is about a world where superheroes are celebrities, egos rampage out of control. 5 of Chicago's most dependable sidekicks are faced with the reality that despite their dedication, they will be disrespected by the heroes they work with and the citizens they protect. So it's a unique take on the sidekick, I don't know, subgenre, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Isn't that always the way of sidekicks, though, to be completely disrespected? Yeah,
pretty much. And it's funny because the cover shows a sidekick in between 2 bigger heroes, and they kind of resemble, you only see like their leg and arm, but the colors of the costumes kind of resemble like a Superman and Batman, and you see the one's cape floating over to where it's like draped over the sidekick's head.
Right.
So,
nice.
So it's kind of funny that way, but it looks like a fun book, and we'd recommend you guys checking it out. It'll be a digital release coming up soon. I don't know when exactly, but be on the lookout for that. I will try to remember to mention once I have details of when it actually is out. So there you go. All right, all the sponsors out of the way. Oh, we should mention we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us each and every Friday on comicspodcasts.com, as well as a bunch of other shows. All right. So should we get into some news?
Absolutely.
All right. Get your news here. It's hot off the presses. So like I said at the beginning, it's going to be all Marvel show pretty much. Our main topic for you guys listening, I'll just go ahead and tell you now so you know what's coming. We're going to be talking about Original Sin. Original Sin number 3 came out this week, and we're going to be talking about all of that. So big things happening, and we will be spoiling. So.
Spoiling the heck out of it. So
yeah,
you are forewarned.
Yeah, if you have not read it, wait until you read it until you listen to that part of the show.
Right, turn the show off right now. Come back later.
Exactly. But before we get into all that, heading over to some movie news. Doctor Strange has gotten a director apparently. A guy by the name of Scott Dickerson. No, Robert. Yeah, Scott Dickerson.
It's Scott Dickerson, yeah.
Derrickson, something like that. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I think you got it right the last time. It is Derrickson.
Yeah.
Seriously hipster-looking dude, actually. He looks a little like Doctor Strange.
He does, kind of.
Without the costume. But yeah, apparently young Dickerson here has been I guess a horror director, you'd mostly say up to this point.
Yeah, we were looking at some of the stuff that he's done before the show, and it's mostly horror stuff like the Sinister and the Exorcism of Emily Rose. He did a Hellraiser video, stuff like that. So
yeah, although the Sinister, whatever it is, I've never actually heard of it, but it supposedly did really well.
Okay.
And the Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I did hear about. Because they threw quite a bit of money into the advertising. It doubled its profits. So, positives, I suppose. A little, the fact that, Doctor Strange kind of weird, trippy, could be portrayed sort of horror-like, I suppose, might work in his favor.
Yeah, it's kind of a stretch, but kind of a fit too,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit, because this kid looks like a kid.
Yeah.
He looks like, all he needs is some sort of ironic t-shirt to be, your local hipster at the coffee shop. But I'm hoping that looks are deceiving and, he manages to pull off a Favreau or something like that because, nobody was giving Favreau a lot of chance to pull off a decent superhero movie either. And
sure.
He made Iron Man, so.
That's very, very true. Yeah. So, like you said, if he pulls from those horror background and infuses that into that mystical kind of side of Doctor Strange, it can work. So. Yeah,
because, if you think about some of Doctor Strange's main villains, in more or less the obvious sense, they are kind of monsters. They are kind of, horror characters. If you think of Dormammu, a gigantic guy with his head on fire.
Yeah.
That does sort of, and he has a whole group of mindless ones, to command around, which the mindless ones will come up later too. There's a lot of horror elements to that. So
right, yeah, a lot of demonic stuff and
a lot of demonics, a lot of a lot of people being put in kind of really scary situations. So
yeah,
I guess it does sort of lend itself to that genre. So maybe Marvel is actually brilliant and we just didn't realize it.
That's quite possible. They haven't really failed yet. They've had a few missteps, I'd say.
Right.
But I don't think they've outright failed on any of their Marvel Studios movies yet. I know you would disagree on Iron Man 3, but...
Well, yeah, the Marvel Studios movies, I'll give you most of that, other than Iron Man 3 now. A couple of movies that just happen to be Marvel that...
Yeah. We won't get into that whole Fox thing, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. or even mention the words Ghost Rider. But
yeah. So.
But yeah, let's hope for the best. Possibly the most brilliant move they've ever made.
It's, have you ever seen the animated Doctor Strange movie they did?
Yeah, I actually sort of like the animated Doctor Strange movie. It was kind of cool.
it's one of the few Marvel animated things that I've liked. I mean, it was done really well, I thought. So if they kind of go on that track, but it's like we've been talking about his horror background. It seems like maybe they're kind of trying to go into that lane, which is interesting because they've done the superhero thing. Now they're doing the cosmic thing, and kind of going into the magic horror kind of side of things too now. So
if they're smart and they make it kind of dark and moody, and they don't try to blow it up like an Avengers movie, but they kind of make it this small, dark and moody sort of thing. I think that might end up working in their favor.
Yeah.
Because, nobody's dragging Doctor Strange into the Avengers or anything like that right now.
No, I couldn't see that.
So, yeah, he doesn't have to be... he doesn't have to be this big, flashy, shiny character. So
Right. And this isn't one of the headlines that I had listed. It's not really a headline. It's an article I found. I just wanted to mention it to you, see what you thought.
Okay.
As I was looking through news, I saw this article that suggested that Rocket Raccoon may be poised to become Marvel's Mickey Mouse.
Oh, joy.
What do you think about that?
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Now, if they're going to do Rocket like he's obviously being portrayed in Guardians, or at least the ads for Guardians that we've seen, that's one thing. But if they're going to sanitize him and make him, cute and funny and, have him like Steamboat Rocket or something like that, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that would be bad. It's just that they were talking about in this article all the various licenses that they've gotten for this, like from everything from Lego to Hasbro to something called Mad Engine. They're like going all out with merchandise for Rocket Raccoon. Yeah.
I think when people see the movie, they're going to be a little shocked because they're thinking, "Oh, cute raccoon," but he's got a big gun, but still, cute raccoon character. When he starts throwing F-bombs and stuff like that down, I think the mothers of America are going to run.
I mean, just that, like that one scene in the newest trailer, where they're like all walking and he's like pulling at his pants.
Yeah.
It's like that's the Rocket you're gonna get right there.
And he's like grabbing his crotch and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's Rocket.
Yeah,
spitting on the floor. You're lucky he's not the one that turned up the machine that brought up the middle finger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're definitely not going to see Mickey Mouse do that.
Yeah. Like I said, unless he becomes like some little goofy sanitized character, I think they're going to pull back on that.
Yeah.
Because he's going to make Bart Simpson look like an A student if they do him correctly, and right. The uproar that happened there. So about Bart Simpson being a role model for children.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a role model. He's a...
No.
He should be wearing a t-shirt. I'm not a role model. I'm a cigar-chomping, wise-ass raccoon.
But then again, I mean, not to go all wrestling, but Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, yeah, but they eventually sanitized him. I mean, look at look at the movies he did.
Oh yeah. Well, let's not talk about that. Aside from the Expendables, which was supposed to be that kind of movie, but yeah, no.
But those other movies, he practically went the Hulk Hogan route,
Yeah. The Rock is the only one that was ever successful translating. Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. But speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, the poster posse, that sounds a lot better. Poster posse did their own versions of Guardians of the Galaxy posters, which some of them are really cool, especially the one, I don't know if you saw it, but it says, not so long ago in a galaxy quite nearby.
Yeah, I was thinking Drew Struzan's turning over in his grave and he's not even dead yet. It's like, went serious Star Wars with this one.
Yeah.
With that one. That one was cool. I didn't like that one as much as I liked the Art Deco one further down.
Okay.
I just thought it was a cool image, and I like, the angles on Really, I just sort of like the Gru and Rocket part of it more than anything. Just the angles there are really, really cool.
Is that the orange and white one?
No, the one above that.
Okay.
The one that actually pictures them. I didn't like the orange and white one as much.
Okay.
But the one that actually pictures them is kind of cool. It's that very kind of Art Deco-y sort of look to it. That one's really cool.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit. Yeah, the one with the one where they took the cord of the earphones, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
For what it was.
It's a little overdone at this point because I've seen that several times.
Yeah, it's like this is not a Sony ad. We've seen those headphones so many times already.
Or a Bruno Mars video.
Or a Bruno Mars ad. The rest of them, I mean, they look like they should be like AIM chat heads or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're kind of cool for what they are, but yeah,
they're cool.
And we got the crotch grabbing raccoon in that one too. I really like the Star Wars one, the first one.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I actually like the orange and white one.
Yeah, now the one with Rocket is very detailed. It's the one with the kind of green outline around him. It looks like a sketch card actually, but
yeah,
I do like the detail in that one a whole lot. Yeah, and then, just the silly crush grab one is just funny for the heck of it. Yeah, the one towards the bottom looked like Rocket's almost shooting through Gru's head. That one's a little messed up. But yeah, I mean they're kind of cool. There's some really good ones. There's some maybe not so hot ones where they were trying to emulate a certain style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you could sort of tell the Star Wars influence in a lot of these.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's one towards the bottom with like it's got Ronan's head kind of silhouetted through the stars.
He looks like a puppy or something.
He does, but I could definitely see the Star Wars influence in that one.
Right. Yeah.
You put Darth Vader in that place. Yeah, you can feel it. But yeah,
he looks like almost like a dog character.
He does. There's some interesting stuff. I wasn't aware of the poster posse before this. So.
No, new one on me completely. But yeah, they did some cool stuff. I'm sure they could. You got to give them credit for one. There's only one that actually gave not Gamora, the other one, Nebula, any love.
Right.
There, yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't been getting a lot of love in the advertising.
Or Karen Gillian and her bald head.
Yeah.
There.
I hope she just steals the show in the movie.
Oh, she probably will. I mean, from the few scenes that I've seen, It looks like, if nothing else from a fight standpoint, it's gonna be everybody's favorite part when the two of them really get into it.
Definitely. And a little bit more Guardians of the Galaxy. Josh Brolin to play Thanos.
Ugh.
So Jonah Hex is Thanos.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just hearing in the back of my head Jonah Hex's voice.
Mm-hmm. Not thrilled about that choice.
No, not exactly. Yeah, because Josh Brolin kind of comes from that mumbling school of acting.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of Harrison Ford school of acting.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, hi, I'm Thanos, and I'm the Mad Titan, and give me my gauntlet. And that'll be the whole movie.
Yeah, I just I don't know what I pictured exactly for Thanos, but that wasn't it. So.
No, I mean, obviously the character's going to be all CG or mostly CG,
sure.
But
yeah.
It's just that voice. I've never seen Josh Brolin have a heck of a lot of range.
No.
As far as his voice, I mean, or have a strong enough voice that it would be like a Thanos character,
Right.
I mean, you're almost thinking, or at least I was thinking of the level of like Michael Ironsides, or someone who has or a Clancy Brown, or somebody like that. Somebody has a real strong voice, like a cartoon voice actor.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought something deep and I don't know, but heavily baritone, kind of like Darth Vader was.
Yeah.
Just kind of not necessarily James Earl Jones, but somebody
No,
like
I mean,
with that gravitas.
Michael Clarke. If you could get him to speak a little more Shakespearean, if he hadn't passed away, Michael Clarke Duncan, then no, who was I thinking of other than the other really big African American actor?
Ving Rhames?
Ving, maybe not Ving Rhames, but
Idris, what's his name?
Oh yeah, no, but I wasn't thinking of him. But he'd be great. Idris Elba, the guy who played Heimdall in Thor.
Right.
Yeah, that's the voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of voice you would want for Thanos.
Exactly.
That voice that could make the room shake when he's talking. Well, yeah, I don't see Josh Brolin being able to be heard in the room.
I know, it kind of worries me, unless they do something to alter his voice somehow.
Maybe if they do, like layering like they did with the Hulk's voice. Because, they layered Ferrigno's and...
Right, yeah.
And Ruffalo's together, so who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear the big old rumor on Ferrigno? It's not true, but, for a couple of days this week, he was dead.
Oh, really? He's the latest. Okay.
Yeah. He supposedly died in a car crash. He got on Twitter or something and said, "No, I'm still alive." And
I hate it when people do that. I don't know why they get their jollies out of saying people are dead. I don't
know. It's weird. I mean, I have no. Ferrigno's kind of a jerk at conventions, but I don't necessarily want him to die in a car crash.
No. I hate that because you never know. It's sad when it gets to a point like I forget who the last maybe it was when Paul Walker died. It was either him or somebody else when they died. I had to wait and keep watching different news sites to make sure it was real before I believed it because I've seen so many of those fake things.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it was him. Philip Seymour Hoffman died about the same time, and it's like, we sure about this?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I'm still watching like news, expecting to say, "Oh no, I was on vacation or something."
Yeah, I was researching a role. And
yeah, it's like, man,
I've been in Africa this whole time.
It's crazy. People. Anyway.
Yeah, not to get completely away from Josh Brolin and his Thanos, but yeah.
Yeah. That's, well, but anyway.
It was such a bad idea, it made me think of something.
Exactly. So, keeping on the track of Marvel movies, we got Ant-Man, which we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the director pulled out, or it might have even been last week, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And apparently they've been in talks with a few people for taking up the director chair, and one among them was a guy named Adam McKay who did, and I'm kind of thankful this guy pulled out, but the guy that did Anchorman, Step Brothers, and the other guys, he was in talks with Marvel to take on Ant-Man, but in a Twitter thing, he said that he had other commitments.
Right.
So he wasn't sure it could work out, so he kind of pulled out. Other people they're looking at, which kind of tells us exactly what this movie is going to be like now, after that list of credits from him. Another guy they're looking at is Rawson Marshall Thurber, who did Dodgeball and We're the Millers.
Oh, man.
And Ruben Fleischer, who did Zombieland and Gangster Squad.
Yeah, so obviously Ant-Man's a comedy, for one thing.
There's no question about it now. And it kind of makes me wonder, is that what Edgar Wright was going for, or is that why he walked?
I think that almost has to be why he walked.
Yeah.
Because, I don't expect them to play it, completely straight. I mean, even Iron Man or any of the movies, with the exception of maybe Avengers, wasn't, completely straight down the middle. And there were a few jokes here and there in Avengers, but so, it's not this major, thing where that everything has to be serious or anything like that, but but they're going for like slapsticky humor.
Yeah, which
kind of people.
Which kind of confuses me. I mean, I get Paul Rudd because that fits him.
Well, yeah,
But Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and Patrick Wilson, not really a good fit.
No, I mean, none of those people are, all that well known for their comedy chops.
Exactly.
I mean, it's honestly getting to the point where Ant-Man needs to change his name to Ain't Gonna Get My Movie Made Man.
Which is quite possible, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost afraid it's going to get to the point where Rudd is going to have to direct it himself.
Ooh.
Because no one else seems to want to touch it right now. But yeah, I mean, I saw both Dodgeball and the Millers. They were cute, they were funny, but they're far from, far from great cinema, and definitely far from a superhero movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the movies. It's just, it's not what
it's not the genre. Yeah.
I mean, as soon as Paul Rudd came on, I knew it was going to have a comical slant to it. But I'm thinking, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy has a bit of a comedy. Robert Downey Jr., throws in, one-liners, stuff like that.
Right.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But now, seeing the kind of director they're going for, it's making me think it's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going kind of full tilt in the yucks department, and that's a little worrisome. I mean, even though, Ant-Man is far from an A-level character by any stretch other than, the fact of being around long enough to be an Avenger, someone, an Avengers founder,
right?
Other than that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, yes, he was a founding Avenger and everything, but even just the cover, you have Thor, Captain America, Hulk, and then these two tiny little characters. I mean, it's just
floating around next to him.
Kind of metaphorical, figurative, and literal there. So
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. We'll see.
This could be the one Marvel Studios movie that I'm just not behind, though.
It could be. It could be the. I mean, I'm hoping we'll be surprised, but
yeah, I'm always hoping that.
Yeah, part of me is telling me that it's not going to be a good surprise because it's just. I mean, I know they're not giving it a lot of respect just because of the character, just because, it's this small character who talks to ants, essentially. But, deep down, if you start dissecting these characters, they're all kind of silly.
Oh, of course,
so, you have to kind of respect the material, at least.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like, at least in this case, they're respecting the material at all.
Yeah, and I think Edgar Wright was, so...
Yeah, I think he was because, he put so much time into it and so much effort into it, and he really wanted to get it made. And, I'm sure when, nothing against Paul Rudd or anything like that, but I'm sure when Paul Rudd got tapped, he was already to the point of, are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on, this is not an Ant-Man character. This is not a hero type character.
Right. I just, and if they end up cutting out the test footage that we saw that was like really cool.
Oh yeah.
If they end up cutting away from that kind of thing, that's going to really bring it down for me.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder if they're even going to use that because that was kind of Wright's stuff. So I wonder if it's even going to. Whether they're going to follow it thematically is one thing, but whether or not they're going to use the actual footage, I kind of doubt right now. They're probably going to try to get away from, anything that he touched as much as possible.
Yeah, which is sad.
Which is very sad because, he had a really good take on it. And of course, politics got in the way, so, we might end up having, instead of gamma dogs, like...
Gamma ants.
Gamma ants or some freaky thing.
Oh, Lord.
Who knows?
If they, I swear, if they have him riding around on an ant fighting bees or something, I'm done.
You probably will, or it'll probably be, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No. Oh, Lord. Anyway.
Ant-Man fights a super intelligent ant who's taking over the the lawn or something.
Or worse, he's going to shrink down into the microverse. And
Oh, yeah, there you go.
oh, Lord, I don't even know what to think anymore.
But oops, he left his clothes behind. So there's that part of the slapsticky comedy.
Yeah, please no. We'll know it's a bomb when they move it from July to February 2016.
Right? Yeah. Or they'll try to bury it amongst the Valentine movies or something.
All right. So the only other piece of news I had was kind of interesting. C.B. Cebulski, who has long been the talent recruiter for Marvel, he's the one that was at conventions and going around the world basically talking to talent, looking at their portfolios. He did videos about it. He answered questions on Twitter, all this kind of stuff. He has taken a new position with Marvel that's kind of a broader position that kind of sees him going into the various aspects, not just publishing, but the other aspects of Marvel, and he is stepping completely away from the talent recruitment. So I don't know who they're going to get to replace him in that, but that was kind of surprising because he's brought a lot of people through their door. So
it was, but what I got from this is he really, really doesn't want to leave New York.
Yeah. So
I mean, he'll have to travel a lot more, but he didn't want to get uprooted with the rest of the company when it goes to the West Coast.
Well, that's DC that's moving to the West Coast.
Oh, I thought Marvel was having a little move too.
I know Marvel Studios and all that stuff's out there, so I mean, I could see them splitting, but I don't see them like moving completely.
Let's hope not, unless they go out there to mess with DC.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they would stay and have a New York presence just because DC's not.
Right, that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know though. Who knows? All the big stuff with Marvel Studios doing so well, though, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what concerns me is that Marvel Studios, that it'll at some point shift where Marvel Studios becomes the more important entity.
And it kind of is.
Well, it is really. I mean, it's where all the money's coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
But they still kind of need the comics to generate the stories, but it does worry me slightly that, it maybe become Marvel Studios is the big deal and the comic side has to follow them.
Yeah. Which I would not like to see, but...
No.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens, man.
But yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. I've met him before, So, good luck in whatever you're doing. Quit hanging out with Paris Hilton, according to the picture that's part of the article, but,
Yeah. But, I mean, if it was kind of a promotion or a lateral move that he wanted, then, you know, that's great. So, more power.
He says he's going to be stuck on a lot of planes, and,
Yeah.
planes aren't nice to big guys, so I feel for him.
Well, he's probably traveled a lot anyway, because I know he's gone, he's probably gone overseas to recruit talent and stuff like that.
Oh, well, he'd have to. I mean, half of Marvel now is, Asian talent.
Yeah, or I forget what the other main, jeez.
Start with the P, maybe?
Philippines?
Philippines, yeah. Philippines, that's what I was thinking. So... I'm sure he's done some traveling, was my point.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so that's all the headlines I had. Did you see anything else that caught your interest?
No, nothing really. It's been kind of slow headline-wise for the most part.
Yeah, for the past few weeks now. I'm still waiting for all the San Diego stuff to start dropping.
I was about to say everybody's keeping quiet till San Diego now.
Well, at least like the week before, they'll probably start really... throwing stuff out there. And then I'll get mad because they're throwing stuff out there before the con.
Right. Why didn't you wait for San Diego?
Alright, so then I guess it's topic time.
Topic time.
Topic time.
It's topic time.
Alright, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are talking Original Sin. This is the current Marvel event going on. It's a 8-issue miniseries and a bunch of tie-ins, of course. There's actually even a secondary miniseries called Original Sins that's a 5-issue thing coming up. So basically the premise of this whole story, and I think we've talked about this on the show before it came out. We were talking about some of the stuff. And
Yeah.
the basic premise is the Watcher, who anybody that used to read What If is very familiar with. He's been popping up a lot more lately in the past probably decade, 15 years. He's murdered. And this is a huge murder mystery. Somebody stole his eyes, and his eyes hold these secrets. And the Avengers and their collective heroes are trying to find out who murdered him and why. And that's kind of how we start things off. So I know that you caught up on everything today, right?
Yeah, I just caught up. I caught up on the main,
Yeah, the main
series,
yeah.
4 issues today.
Yeah, I don't think there's been many tie-ins yet. Maybe just a 2 or 3. So you haven't missed too much there, and I haven't read them either, so don't worry. But it started with the 0 issue, so we got 4 technical issues out, 0 and 1, 2, 3, which issue 3 came out this week. And some big stuff happened in this latest issue. But what is your take overall? And then we'll kind of break it down. What was your take overall in the story so far?
Well, started off really slow as a kind of a one-on-one, talking headpiece for the new Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Which was cool for what it was. I liked it. There was that kind of introduction, I guess, for people into the new Nova,
right? Who
weren't necessarily familiar with him, or at all familiar with his dad, whoever his dad's supposed to be. Kind of a snaggly tooth looking guy, actually, but Nova wanting to talk to the Watcher. Nova's father disappeared, or something at some point, and left him his Nova helmet, which glowed one day. The kid put it on, and kabam, he's Nova.
Right.
So he's kind of been muddling through being Nova, doing a fairly decent job, apparently.
Honestly, I have read the Nova series, and I would recommend it. Aside from 2 or 3 issue arc where he went off world, it's been a really, really fun series. So
yeah, what I thought was odd, at least by this one, he was figured so prominently in this, and he takes care of this like, is there a letter below Z? This Tomazuma, Aztec robot god.
Yeah.
Then the Avengers show up late, as always. And, they have a little discussion with Nova about Uatu, about the Watcher, and Nova just basically wants to ask him wants to ask him about his father more than anything else. He's curious about the nature of the Watcher, what he does, and all that stuff. Right. And he wanders into the Watcher's house, and the helmet's going off like crazy, telling him, no, don't go in here, bad things. He stumbles on the armory, which is always kind of scary.
Yeah. And seeing some of the stuff in there, man.
Yeah. I mean, some of those guns make the stuff that, the big gun guys carry around look like, water guns.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you've got the ultimate nullifier in there, but like you've got these really crazy Kirby-esque guns, and I'm sure that some of these guns, somebody who's a real big Marvel geek could probably track some of these weapons down to specific. Yeah, Bill Gladman. Could probably track some of these weapons down to specific stories or specific heroes or whatever. Yeah. Nothing's jumping out at me, but I'm far from a gigantic Marvel geek. So yeah, he wanders in the armory, tries to get the heck out of there, gets lost, and he finds the Watcher watching his kind of the reason that they became watchers instead of doers.
Yeah.
They end up giving this one early world the gift of nuclear power, and typically they use it to destroy themselves. So,
yep.
And it's, it's his father that's advocating the helping along other races, but once they do that, his father's like, no, never, we're never again doing this.
Right.
And we go to find out that the Watcher's actually watching every possible reality to see if there was one where his father was right.
Yep.
That helping out other races is a good thing.
Yep.
And, Nova gets to see all this, and, kind of a lot for a kid hero to deal with, but still. And then he reveals that he wants to know if his dad's okay, and Watcher says his only 3 words in the whole story, he is alive. And Nova gets all, woohoo, he's alive, fly off the world. And I forgot to mention Nova gives him a little gift.
Yeah.
Nova gives him a piece of the rock during the X-Men Avengers battle with the Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Which Uatu puts on a little stand. And that's the end of that story. So, like I said, it was a nice little piece, I guess, brought people up to speed on the Watcher who weren't necessarily Watcher aficionados.
Yeah.
Or even Cosmic Marvel aficionados or anything like that. So.
And I thought it was interesting because I didn't know like the background of the Watcher. I'm not sure that they've ever told that story. If they have, I missed it. I
don't think they have. There've been other Watchers that have been introduced here and there, and then you also have where some Watchers have gone on to be evil, or at least broke their vow of non-interference even more than Uatu does.
Right.
Which for a while there was like once a week. Back in like the 90s or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, they never really delved into them as a race or anything like that.
Exactly, yeah. So, I liked learning about it, and, I love the Watcher from, like, What If, and we kind of saw that he looked at different possibilities and stuff, in that series.
Oh, yeah, it was a whole wall of,
yeah.
Could have been this, could have been that.
Right.
Everything from, you've got the Fantastic Five in one little thing here. In the corner, you've got, looks like Galactus pretty much wiping out the Fantastic Four at one point. You got, like, a female Thor, and...
I love how they just threw a Rocket Raccoon in there for nothing.
Yeah, just threw Rocket in there just for funsies. You've got him finding his helmet. That's a big prominent thing there. You've got really early X-Men. Loki plotting. Some old Guardians of the Galaxy over here in the corner just to mess with the continuity creeps.
Yep. You got all kinds of, like, the Venom symbiote, and you got Feral Wolverine and Weapon X Project and all that stuff.
Right, Hulk about to smack up Ultron upside the head. Space, Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan. So,
interesting stuff. What's interesting is Nova doesn't pop up in the rest of the main series.
No, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
This is Nova's one and only, at least so far.
Yeah.
One and only shot in the whole thing.
I found out his dad was alive, and he was like,
yeah, he's like, forget the rest of the world, forget the rest of the big problems in the world. I gotta go look for my dad.
Yep. So I'm sure that's followed up in the Nova series. I'm a few issues behind now, but
yeah.
Interesting stuff though. But the main series, once it picks up from there, once it actually gets into the meat of it, first of all, I think the art is amazing. I love the art in this book.
Oh yeah, beautiful, and like I said, they're touching on a bunch of different stuff. For us, they're not being stingy at all with getting into a whole bunch of different things.
Right. Yeah. And so, it opens up with the Watcher on the moon.
Right.
This whole monologue, or not monologue, but narrative
Yeah.
going on there. And it's talking about our sins and the greatest secrets, them being the greatest secrets and all that stuff. And then he says, "I see you," and then there's this major explosion.
A waboom explosion that takes up a whole page.
Yep. And that was the end of the Watcher. But what I loved about this first issue was that we did get classic Nick Fury back.
Yeah, which is surprising. I mean, it's not surprising he's hanging out with the people he's hanging out with.
Right.
Because, you'd expect that from him.
Exactly.
Of all the people to be hanging out with, it'd be those three.
Right. But it's surprising that he just comes out of hiding all of a sudden, and
yeah,
for
in his car too, his own Lola.
Yeah, his own Lola,
which he calls Betty.
Yeah,
but
it was cool seeing that though. We got to see a lot of old classic Nick Fury stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we should tell people we didn't really name who he was hanging out with, but he's hanging out at the steakhouse with Steve Rogers, Wolverine, and Black Widow.
Of course, yeah. Who else?
And they're all in street clothes, having steak, and Wolverine's chastising Captain America for not finishing his steak, and Black Widow's trying to convince them that bear meat is so much better, and you should go kill a Russian bear and cook that up, and that would be even better than this steak, and Nick references a time during the war where when he was with Cap and the Howling Commandos, they got their own steak because a cow happened to wander in the middle of the battlefield.
Right.
And
yeah,
the Germans and the Commandos both went after it, and Bucky essentially won.
Yeah. And they both agreed, that was probably the best steak.
Yeah, that was a really good steak. And we gave the bones a military funeral.
That was funny. It was good stuff. I like it when they do that. They kind of break it down and make it more human.
Yeah, a lot of nice character stuff. And then, of course, Rogers gets a phone call. Wolverine's stealing the steak.
Yeah.
Which he manages to finish in the length of the phone call.
Yeah.
And then, it's time. Okay, time to suit up.
Yeah, we gotta go to the moon. The moon. That's
the moon.
Never good.
Yeah, and then, he convinces Fury to come, and of course, they take the car.
Of course.
They've got the Quinjet right there, but of course, they take the car. So that's a really cool scene of, essentially a Thunderbird with a bubble over top of it, and the wheels kind of stuck out like they did with Lola on the TV show, flying up towards the moon.
Yeah, 238,000 miles.
Exactly. I mean,
in a car.
What kind of gas mileage does that car get?
I'm telling you.
But they get there. Thor's already there going, hey, when I was flying back, I got hit in the face with some blood. And this wasn't cool.
Oh, and then we get that image that we saw in the teasers leading up to this whole thing.
Yeah, now the teasers did not do this image justice.
No, it just had them blacked out. This was like, wow.
This was CSI time here.
Yeah.
For the amount of blood splatter and everything.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they show not only the bullet wound to the head, but they show where his eyes have gotten ripped out, and you've got this blood splatter everywhere on this. It's like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
It's like they weren't messing around with this.
And then they're like, what could kill the Watcher? I mean, it's got to be something major that could kill this guy and all this stuff. And, they go looking around and find that his tower is ransacked and things are stolen. And, Nick Fury decides this could lead us to some really dark places. And then they kind of start gathering the troops.
Yeah, and Captain America decides, hey, Nick, you're in charge. Because, we need a murderer guy, we need a spy. We need someone who knows murders. And
right.
Then we start getting to like some weird pairings.
Yeah.
Pairings I would have never thought of. Like we go immediately from that to Black Panther, which, I guess kind of makes sense because Black Panther is known for being overly stealthy. But then, you see the guy with the gamma bullet is the one that is giving him information here.
Right.
And, we don't even know about the gamma bullets at this point, but we get the image of the gamma bullet right away.
Right. Which is interesting. I mean, I love how this story has planted little seeds, but they don't reveal anything. It's like at least not at once. I mean, it's kind of slow burn reveals.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow burn. And then, then I have a problem.
Okay.
And that problem is Ant-Man.
Who he's paired with, or just Ant-Man in general?
Just this Ant-Man.
Okay. Eric O'Grady, I believe.
It's not Eric O'Grady.
Oh, it's not Eric O'Grady.
It's Scott. They keep referring to him as Scott Lang.
Okay, it is Scott Lang. Yeah.
I mean, granted, not caught up on Marvel that much. Last I heard, Scott Lang was dead, and I didn't think they changed that.
No, he came back. I don't remember how, but he was in FF.
Okay, that's right, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, okay, my problem with him is the way he's acting. He's acting like O'Grady. Scott Lang was never this kind of flippant and foolish and kind of goofy.
Which kind of goes back to our movie fears.
Exactly, yeah. He's just being kind of, hey, happy-go-lucky, look at me, I'm riding two ants. Dun, 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 dun. He's acting like O'Grady. And then comes up on Emma Frost in a typically ridiculous costume.
Well, of course, it's Emma Frost.
Yeah, but, even for Emma, this one's dumb. And,
which, again, leads to your odd pairing.
Yeah, because, why Emma? I get Ant-Man. I mean, you need someone who can go into small places.
Mm-hmm.
But why a telepath, of all people? And, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Then, of course, my least favorite character in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people's favorites, we get the Punisher.
Yeah, and this is for me, this is the weirdest and oddest pairing of the entire series.
Although they pair them a lot, which I don't get. They paired them a lot in the 90s.
It's
like Secret Defender stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal. Maybe that's why they did it here, though. Kind of.
Yeah, maybe. Because the other one he's paired with is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I know we forget that people aren't looking at the same issues we are. But yeah, they paired Doctor Strange and the Punisher, who couldn't be any more apart ideologically, methodology, even temperament.
Yeah. Couldn't
be any further apart.
Now, this did lead to a comment that I loved in issue 3, which we'll get to. But in issue 3, Doctor Strange tells him, "I love it when you're uneasy."
Uneasy, yeah. I love it when you're uneasy because Punisher always comes across as this cocky, essentially murdering SOB, which is the essence of the character. He is a cocky, murdering SOB, and
Which again leads you to the stark contrast here, because Doctor Strange was a real life doctor, and he doesn't, he's not a fan of killing; he's a fan of saving people, and yeah, it's just kind of an odd pairing.
Well, it is an odd pairing, also because the fact that I'm not 100% sure why that he had Punisher with him either. Neither was Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not 100% sure because Strange was a doctor. He knows what a bullet wound looks like.
Right, exactly.
You don't need the world's, as they put it, the world's most successful mass murderer to tell you what a bullet wound looks like if you were a doctor. But, we don't get a lot of them. Now we get Moon Knight, who, possibly psychotic. Duh. Then we get Winter Soldier or Bucky Cap or, who I also thought was dead.
Oh, no. He came,
last I heard.
he died during the period itself and came back like a month or two later.
Oh,
in secret. He was kind of like off the radar, kind of doing secret Black Ops kind of stuff. Yeah.
And, we just happen to find Gamora hanging out in space, like you do, with your sword strapped to your back.
What a pig spite. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. But Moon Knight, Winter Soldier, and Gamora.
Yeah. I'm I'm wondering if somebody just took like a dartboard and put names on it and just threw darts at it to see who got picked.
That's just that's 3 very unstable characters to put together.
Well, yeah, putting all those people into a small ship, that's not brilliant.
And we'll talk more about them later too.
Yeah, they have a major little plot point later. But then you've got Nick hanging around with Cap, and they're talking, and they find some green glowing things, which gets to the point where Cap says that line, "I've learned to be real uneasy around anything that's glowing green."
Yeah.
Because that immediately puts Hulk in everybody's brain.
Exactly.
And even Fury says we need to talk to Banner as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But then you get this like 180-degree thing of the Thing fighting a mindless one, and like a huge mindless one, who's holding the ultimate nullifier.
Yeah. So we know he's been to the moon.
Yeah, we know he's been there, definitely. And the mindless one ain't so mindless right now.
No, he's starting to speak.
Yeah, he's becoming self-aware, which isn't what mindless ones generally do.
No.
And of course, Spider-Man swings by it because New York.
Of course.
And mindless one starts shooting out some telepathy, which is new for a mindless one. And he's beating up things with the ultimate nullifier, which should have made it go off. I would have thought.
You would think, yeah.
You would think, but the funny thing is they don't. I understand Spider-Man because he's never probably seen one, but Thing doesn't see the ultimate nullifier in his hand until he points it at him.
That's pretty sad, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that he's been cracking buildings and things with it, and then Thing is like, "Oh, okay, pal, even though we've been beating on you for the last 20 minutes, we're not your enemies. Just put the nullifier down."
Oh, shoot. But yeah, he does reveal he has been to the moon and stuff, and he starts talking more coherently. It starts off like broken speech. It's like...
Right. I understand things, and then suddenly he's monologuing.
Yeah, it's like, make I not know again, and then he's like, all full on, we should have never gone to the moon, and it's like, what?
We should have never done this, and things changed, and I've changed, and the man in the moon knew.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff, and then it's like... And then the weird thing, he triggers the nullifier, and it blows him up.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he sort of points it at his own head... Right. It doesn't nullify anything but him.
Even though it does have like an atomic bomb level mushroom cloud going on.
Yeah, I mean, Spidey's outfit isn't even tore up.
Right. That I'll give you. That's definitely an error in editing there.
Yeah. I mean, it knocked down the block.
Yeah.
It nullified everything except for the hand and arm of the mindless one. But
I get Thing being fairly untouched, but...
Yeah, but Spidey should be dead.
Or at the very least, very, very injured.
Yeah, or, at least have a tear in the costume, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's weird. And then, of course, the team from the moon shows up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nick Fury. I'm in charge.
I'm in charge now. Step back, heroes. I'm in charge. It's like, who do you think you are, Stanley?
And then we get a little montage of the various teams going off into their different areas.
Yeah, you get the team that we mentioned before. You get Emma, you get Ant-Man, and then they hook up with Black Panther and his convenient drilling machine.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you have Doc Strange and Punisher walking off to another dimension.
Yep.
And then the Moon Knight, Gamora, Winter Soldier team going to their house, going to the Watcher's house.
Right. Then we see... Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, then we get this weird reveal, this really weird reveal. First, two villains I didn't know who these villains were when I saw them.
Yeah.
But I just had this cringing feeling of really C-level villains. because they were keeping him in the dark. And they have a whole pit of mindless ones who were screaming, "Aye, aye, aye."
Yeah.
And the one guy with the sheet over his head has one of the Watcher's eyes.
Yep.
Or what we must assume is one of the Watcher's eyes, because it's, bright blue and bloody.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where the first issue leaves off.
Yeah, so strange so far. Not a lot of reveal there.
But did that first issue hook you into the story?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I said, there were parts of it that were really like, oh, I am worried. What's going on here? And then, I'm also surprised to find out that each of these issues, they're all done by Mike Deodato, but do we have the same writer for every issue? I know Mark Waid did 0. Okay. Mark Waid did 0. We should tell people that, so,
Yeah. Mark Waid did 0, and Jason Aaron's doing the main.
Jason Aaron's got the rest. Okay.
So.
And already we've got, on the very first page, we've got essentially an Avengers roll call going on here.
For the issue 2, yeah.
For issue 2, yeah. They've got the circle heads of everybody there. They've got Nova there, but like we said before, it doesn't show up.
Yeah. And then, of course, Mysterious Boss.
Mysterious Boss, yeah. It's like, I feel like I'm in a video game.
And then we get some more characters from years past. We get Moloids.
Yeah, we get Moloids.
Just wandering through the tunnels.
Yeah, apparently, and kind of makes me wonder where the Mole Man is.
Yeah.
At this point, and then we apparently stumbled into the middle of, the giant Marvel monster graveyard.
Yeah.
All the things before Marvel started doing superheroes again. Apparently, all those guys came in here and died.
Yeah.
Because, I don't recognize any of these guys, but once again, someone with a major Marvel knowledge might be able to go, oh, that's Mugo, the Merciless, or whatever.
Maybe some Devil Dinosaur stuff. I don't know what's going on down there.
I don't see Devil Dinosaur, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was like tucked away somewhere.
But yeah, there's all kinds of creatures down there.
Clutching Moon Boy or something like that. But we do find Ant-Man crawling through something's head.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds himself his own glowing little green object. At least I assume it's meant to be glowing green. And this issue looks a little yellow, but,
Yeah, it does kind of look yellow.
Just for the sake of the story, we're going to say it's green.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't know. But, then we get more mindless one stuff as, Nick Fury tackles him, and he's in the jetpack, which I love.
Yeah. He's in his car. He's in Betsy.
Mm-hmm.
Then a mindless one jumps out the window, or the back door, as Kat puts it. Jumps out a 49th floor window, and lands in the car.
Yep.
And the car immediately starts kicking his butt. I love backseat defenses engaged.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's like, I want this car.
Exactly.
And then, Nick doesn't even look. He just shoots it behind him. And, didn't work too well. So, kaboom! Seat back jetpack.
Yeah.
Has to be the best words ever. Hard to say, but
seat back jetpack enabled.
Seat back jetpack enabled, and then he's flying around like that. It's all that like harkening back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when they pulled out the Howling Commando gear.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all stuff like that, and it's like, oh, so cool.
Yeah.
It's like 60s, it's like...
Yeah, it's classic Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of 60s sensibility. It's like, hey, let's make a jetpack out of the back seat of the car. And,
yeah.
And all this other stuff. And then poor Nick shoots his car. Just close your eyes, old girl, and pow, shoots his car to try to blow up the... And I guess he blows up the mindless one. It goes in the East River.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody goes in after it, if I don't recall.
No, he just leaves it.
But then we get the boyfriends of Tony Stark and
Bruce Banner.
I almost said Bill Bixby. Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner. Working the situation from the computers.
Yeah.
Tony, and of course, Tony. Yeah, go ahead.
You should have put some pants on.
Yeah, he's sitting there in his Iron Man helmet and a robe.
Yeah, and then his response is, "We're hunting a murderer here, Bruce, and you're talking about pants. Let's be professional."
Yes, and I love the descriptions that they've been doing this for years now, but they're usually pretty cut and dry. But they put descriptions under people so you know who they are.
Yeah,
and it says Dr. Bruce Banner, not to be made angry.
Yeah. Yeah,
or like last issue, it said Iron Man, big guy in a suit of armor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah, it's that little asides, and I mean, once again, harkening back to Kirby stuff, we just have like the biggest frickin' room with computer screens in it that you ever saw. Yep. And honestly, Bruce has turned away from him, so what does he care if he has pants on or not?
That's true.
But then, back to Strange World, and that's really the only way to put it. I mean, it's somewhere far beyond the realms of man.
Yeah.
Duh.
Exactly. This was my least favorite part of this issue.
Honestly, me too, and mostly the reason it was my least favorite part is because of Punisher's whining.
Yeah.
It's just, quit griping, you whiny little baby. But he does find the big honkin', gamma thing, and this gamma bullet is huge compared to the rest of them. I mean, this is something that looks like it would take out the head of the Watcher, because it took out the head of, whatever this big gigantic beast thing was, Cthulhu's little brother or whatever.
Yeah, the bullet itself, it's like bigger than a football. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. And, of course, Punisher pulls it out with his hand, taking no precautions of there could be something really bad about this. I have this big glowing gamma thing in my hand.
Yeah, let's just pick it up. Yeah.
And, then once again we're back to the pit of mindless ones where now they're quoting Gertrude Stein. Which hopefully made at least one person go to Wikipedia and find out who Gertrude Stein was.
There you go.
I mean, I know, but then again, I was an English major, but
I don't, and I didn't. So.
And you didn't. Well, shame on you. But
I will now.
But you will now. But yeah, and then you have one of the mindless ones on the bed who is starting to look awful thing-like.
Yeah.
For some reason, which I wonder if that's prophetic or just, an art choice.
Well, I mean, considering what we saw at the end of this issue.
Yeah.
So, we'll get there. But yeah, what we find out later is the dominatrix or whatever her name is with the orb.
Which... I assume she's an old character that I just never heard of, but...
She, not too old. 2000? Maybe it was a Grant Morrison thing.
Oh, okay, well, dumb character.
It's Grant Morrison.
Yeah, well, not just it's Grant Morrison, but it's a stupid, dated character to begin with. That's when I started to go, oh, God, what are they doing? Actually, I had an oh, God, what are they doing moment prior to that. We didn't mention that they're in a penthouse for some reason, a big glass penthouse. That's one thing. Every superhero in the Marvel Universe shows up outside the penthouse. You've got a Quinjet over here, and Iceman is coming out of it on a glacial slide, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's attached to the Quinjet. And nothing else.
Right.
Physics. Hello. It doesn't work that way.
No.
I mean, it's cool, but it's cool to look at, but wow, dumb. And then, of course, you've got Firestar flying right next to it, so, which is another problem. And I thought Firestar quit and went to college, but that's me.
Firestar came back and became a teacher at the X school.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
So anyway, so you have that, and then you have what's her real name? Extermatrix.
Oh, okay, yeah. I never.
Yeah, I had to scroll down and see that.
I just call her Dominatrix because
yeah,
she is.
She's in a Dominatrix outfit with, for some reason, Dixie cups on either side of her hair, or her head, and like a big thing of red hair coming out the back that I don't think is even really her hair. I think it's just like a big mane of hair coming out the back. I mean, dumb outfit even by Emma Frost standards, and she has no powers other than, I assume, shooting guns.
Yeah.
So she jumps out of a multi-story window, and lucky for her, just happens to land on a Quinjet. And then she tries to blow the Quinjet up.
Yep.
That she's standing on, and she flies off of that. And I don't see where she lands, actually, but somehow she gets to the ground.
Yeah. I don't either.
So, even for comics, the suspension of disbelief is a little rough there.
I agree. Yeah.
And, then we see, we see Sheet Over the Head guy walking around with his Watch Your Eyeball in his hand.
Yep.
And once again, something that looks kind of like the Thing. Also draped in a sheet, but his head is visible.
Yeah. But his head is kind of glowing blue a little bit, too.
Yeah, he's kind of glowing. And then, you have all the foot soldiery people running towards the bad guy.
Oh, of course.
Had to give them something to do because all the flying people were just up there a minute ago.
Oh, we do see Nova. Oh, wow.
Where's Nova?
In that big double-page spread where they're all confronting,
there's Nova.
He's right up there, yeah.
Oh, he got his homework done. Isn't that sweet?
I didn't even notice him the first time I read
No, me either. Completely forgot about old Nova there. Obviously, he wasn't pivotal to the plot.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, we've got all the running guys. You've got Hulk making a big noise and Kitty making a joke. Okay, good job.
Mm-hmm.
Then, while this is going down and all of them still having trouble with 3 or 4 mindless ones and 1 chick in Dominatrix clothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of makes the whole Marvel U look bad there. And glowing head Thing and Sheet Over the Head guy still trying to come out. Okay, so it looks like they stomped her, which, they should be proud. Of course, you've got Thor there and the Hulk.
Right.
And Daredevil and Cap and Black Widow and Spider-Man all looking like, well, we just had a hell of a fight with this seemingly no-powered woman.
I wasn't thinking continuity-wise, but now Daredevil has moved to California. Why is he there?
Well, exactly. And then we have, there's Nova again, and, you finally get the Thing wannabe and Sheet Over the Head guy down to street level. And, of course, half the people that were in the fight are all standing in front of them.
Right.
All street level people and all that are standing in front of them, and you've got Nova. There's Nova again. Hello. Coming, flying up behind, and Spider-Man standing on Hulk's back, which I'm sure he's thrilled about. And then Sheet Off the Head guy pulls off his sheet, and he's the Orb.
That you got to admit one thing though, you couldn't have seen that coming.
No, nobody saw that coming because I don't even remember who he fights.
I don't either. I had to look up to see that he's been around since like 1970 or something.
Oh, he's been around for ages, but he's like gets his butt kicked in the first 5 minutes of the Thing sort of guy.
Well, of course, yeah.
I mean, he's like they even acknowledged it. They said Z-level supervillain with an eyeball for a head.
Yeah.
And then they claim he's about to change the world, or just change the world.
Ghost Rider. He's a Ghost Rider guy.
He's a Ghost Rider guy?
He's been in more Ghost Rider issues than anything. Yeah, he appeared in an issue of Incredible Hulk, but mostly actually a couple of Hulk issues. And
how is he powerful enough for that? I mean, it's just a eye, isn't it? It's not. You should be able to throw dirt at his face, and that be the end of it. It's like, oh, I can't see anymore. My eye is irritated.
It looks like he has the ability to project illusions and hypnotize people.
Oh, joy. So he's the ringmaster, or mastermind, or,
Now, the interesting thing is, yeah, the original one, because I think this is Orb 2, technically.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The original one, it was a helmet. But as we learned in issue 3, or it's at least teased, this isn't a helmet, so...
Yeah, actually I was thinking that, it was just some sort of mask or something. That's why I was thinking, it was just there to disconcert people, but it didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Was what I always thought, but...
Okay, I found something else. Unlike his predecessor who wore a mask, the all-new Orb's head is a functioning giant eyeball. It has a repulsor ray, he has a lightweight gun, but most of his abilities and skills are unrevealed. So,
yeah, which, like I said, I don't know about you, but I even get a little dirt in my eye, and I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm over. I'm not messing with, Ghost Rider.
Exactly.
At that point. And this guy is nothing but eye with no protective covering.
Right.
So I would think just the ambient dust in the air has got to be bugging this guy. This guy should be able to be taken out by Visine.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the air blowing by it with this...
there's nothing there. There's nothing there to protect it. So, I would just think walking through he spent half his time, at least in the beginning, in some dark, dirty warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I would think just being in that would be the problem.
Of course, he did have that sheet over his head, it's kind of comical because he just has this one little tiny hole in the sheet.
Yeah, and how does he see with that? Because his iris it covers half of his eye.
Yeah.
So I assume he has to see out that part. I mean, I see out that part. You see out that part. Everyone we know sees out that part. So unless, he sees out of some other part of his eye than his iris, why wouldn't he have just a big hole in the center?
Yeah. I don't know, man. But
kind of dumb. And speaking of dumb...
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say real quick, it's a dumb character, I agree, but I love the twist because you never see it coming.
That he would have the eye, and he is essentially an eye. Mm-hmm. From a visual aspect, whoa.
Yeah. Exactly.
And when I first looked at him, I was thinking, did he graft the Watcher's eye to his head?
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, it'd be like, you remember those old Hulk villains, the Headmen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had like Ruby Thursday, and she just had this big red ball on her head, and essentially wearing a swimsuit and high-heeled boots, or, knee-high boots and a cape. I was thinking that for half a second, but then, he had it in his hand. But no, speaking of dumb, you get a guy who looks like Iron Man's second costume.
Oh, yeah.
With Dr. Midas. Look at him. He looks like the original Iron Man Golden Avenger costume.
Yeah, and I'm not
in a robe.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him either. Exterminatrix is his daughter.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. You got this guy walking around in essentially, I assume, armor.
Mm-hmm.
Then he puts a robe over that, which is bad enough.
It's kind of comical, though.
But then you got your own daughter walking around as a dominatrix.
Right.
Apparently cursed in 7 different languages by her little thing there.
Mm.
But, we get that and we go, okay, help me steal from the Watcher. And, Midas claims he knows of the Watcher, which seems ridiculous.
Yeah, we should explain this is a flashback. This is the beginning of issue 3.
Flashback, sorry. Yeah, this is a flashback scene. We see Dr. Midas in his office, his study, his solarium, whatever you want to call it. You've got a big desk and you've got curtains and plants and all that in the background.
Yeah.
And your daughter standing around in dominatrix wear, like you do.
And you're talking to a guy with a giant eyeball.
And you're talking to a guy with a giant eyeball who presumably walked up to your house and knocked on your door.
Yeah.
Wearing a giant eyeball, and nobody stopped him. So, do you have a lot of dead henchmen outside, or what's the deal? But anyway, so he asks, help me do this, and this guy is stupid enough to say yes. Mm-hmm. Go beat up the cosmic guy, and none of us have cosmic powers, but whatever. But then we get the next scene, which is kind of slightly mind-blowing, that he holds up the eye and it pretty much whacks every hero there.
Yeah, and as we discover, because they kind of sputter out bits and pieces, it's unleashed their deepest, darkest secrets to each other for everybody that lives in the vicinity,
Yeah, it has, and not just that, but people change clothes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Daredevil, for instance.
Daredevil changes clothes.
I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be their internal monologue or if this is that, because Daredevil's in his outfit over here, reeling from whatever happened.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden he's in a shirt and tie.
Right, he's in his Matt Murdock stuff.
Yeah, that was a little odd. Maybe it's like you said, it was something kind of their inner.
It's an inner thing. Then I'm not sure who, with the babysitter you dog, I'm not sure who the African American guy is supposed to be. With hair, I mean Falcon maybe, but then who's the blonde behind him? Yeah, Falcon was there, but he had a beard.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, these are kind of weird but immaterial, and apparently there's a lesbian storyline with one of them. But
it could be a flashback, though. That particular panel could be like a flashback kind of thing for those characters. I don't know.
It could be. Oh, that could be if this guy in this suit is supposed to be Luke Cage. Maybe he did it with Squirrel Girl. I don't know. But anyway. and that's supposed to be Jessica behind him. I don't know, but she doesn't have blonde hair.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. Well, the important panel is the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Where and people have probably already seen the spoiler for this, but there's a storyline that's going to be running that maybe, just maybe, Hulk's transformation is the fault of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So he does say Hulk smash Stark, which I don't remember Hulk being stupid again, but never mind that.
It keeps going back and forth.
It keeps going back and forth.
And we also, we already kind of knew about this too, but Thor's coming to realize he has a sister,
right?
Which is going to be Angela from the Spawn. Yeah.
From the Spawn thing, since they had to give Angela up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the story is with Luke here.
I don't either. That's the one I know. He's in Mighty Avengers right now, and I know there's some kind of flashback thing coming up with his father. So I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, the '70s thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who that might be? That might be his dad.
Ah. That's possible.
And that might be his mom back there, or his dad's wife, and ends up being the mom.
Interesting.
And I still don't get who the girl is who said she loved me and never said a word, all those years wasted.
Yeah. And
I don't understand why Spidey is so prominently set at the front of this.
Well, there is it was revealed that there's another character that got bit by the spider right after he did. Have you heard
That's
this
interesting. No, I haven't heard that at all.
It's a girl, and she goes by the name of Silk, and for some reason, she's been in hiding this whole time. And we don't know why.
freaked out by her spider powers.
Yeah. She first showed up in the first part of the latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man, but it was just like this little scene of her in an apartment watching the news or something. That's all we got so far. So, but yeah.
So yeah, all that weirdness happens. Then of course, Fury shows up to save the day, takes Orb into custody, and Dominatrix Chick and the Mindless Ones and Glowing Head Thing just leave them.
Yep.
With the eye.
Real smart.
Yeah, you leave your main guy and your main weapon behind, so go figure that out. But Nick puts him under arrest or whatever and says, no, I wasn't the one that killed him, I just happened to have his big eyeball here. Then we switch back over to the Ant-Man and Black Panther and Emma Frost team, and they have a whole bag of bullets right now that they've been taking out on monsters. And we at least are given the notion that this killer has been around for quite a long time.
Yeah, I forget, a few years at least.
More than decades.
More than decades,
Yeah. He says the oldest corpse has been, or Ant-Man says, because apparently he gets to crawl through all the monsters and get the bullets, is that, the oldest corpse has been here for decades, the most recent only a few years.
Yeah. I'm still confused why they need a telepath with a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, because they weren't talking to the Moloids. Moloids really have no mind to manipulate.
Yeah.
And then, we get back to Strange and Punisher, which you get your favorite scene,
Yeah.
It's like, good, I like you, Uneasy.
Yeah. And he reveals that there's only 10 people in the world, or at least on Earth, that could make that kind of shot that killed this thing. So.
Right. So we're gonna get the Assassin's Row that's gonna get looked into here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Bullseye, definitely. Wouldn't surprise me if Deadpool gets dragged into that. I don't really know a lot of Marvel Assassins, but those have to be two of them that really pop up in my head anyway.
Black Widow, Winter Soldier.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe
not so much Black Widow, but it wouldn't surprise me if Winter Soldier was on that list.
Yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, the fact that he not only knows there's only 10 people, or 9 people not counting himself.
Right.
But he's able to, track the trajectory, or maybe not the trajectory, but the distance of the shot.
Yeah.
Which, he's actually useful for a minute.
Exactly.
And then we get back to Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and Gamora, and Gamora's kind of bitching because nothing's happening.
Right. But then they start getting hit. The ship starts getting hit.
Yeah, by shell casings, of all things. Not even bullets now. Now we have shell casings, which begs the question, where are the shell casings from all the other shots that were done? I mean, granted, these shell casings are huge.
Yeah.
These are essentially the size of drums, right, or garbage cans, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody else talked about shell casings up to this point.
Well, I mean, as Punisher revealed, it was shot from a pretty good distance.
Yeah, maybe the casing would be further away.
Yeah, so maybe they just haven't found them yet, or maybe the killer cleaned up the ones like on a surface and just left the one in space floating around.
Yeah, well, as we see in a minute, he didn't have a lot of choice to pick up stuff in space so much. Yeah. But then, of course, we get the sneaky big boss again.
Mm-hmm.
And we get somebody standing behind him who, at least on the surface, almost looks like the Punisher.
I know, I thought the same thing.
But obviously not if he's with Doc Strange, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, unless they're doing some kind of time travel, other dimensional kind of stuff. Which
would get so annoying if they're going to do that crap.
Yeah, I agree.
But I hope they're not, and I mean, they'll justify it by saying, "Well, the Watcher watches every reality," but hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Then the interrogation, which was funny.
Because he's just standing there. He's like, "Oh, is this good cop, bad cop?" Like, no.
I love the way he describes him: a tortured school teacher and a deranged physicist.
Yep. And Wolverine's just like, stab cop, smash cop.
Smash cop, yeah.
Oh,
and Hulk's like, tell Eyeball Man to stop staring at Hulk.
And he's like, nah, I'm not talking to you. Give me the man in charge. I want to talk to Nick Fury. So.
Which, you got to admit, for a Z-grade villain, that guy's got some chutzpah to stand there next to the two deadliest characters in the Marvel Universe and say, I ain't telling you crap, bring me Fury.
And even his posture, I mean, he's just leaning over, just looking at him like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, he's bored with this, and Hulk's hands are as big as his body.
I know, and it's almost like a Dale Keown drawn Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
Monsters here.
He looks a little like Pitt.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, his head is as big as Wolverine's torso.
Yeah.
I mean, just incredibly overblown.
Yeah.
And, and I'm real surprised Hulk stands there and doesn't do anything, Because Hulk looks ready. I mean, the entire shot, even in his hands stay in that kind of clenched, I'm going to grab your eyeball and squeeze it sort of look the whole time. So who's holding him back, honestly?
That's funny, though. But, yeah. And then we got Nick Fury kind of taking all this in and
talking to the eyeball.
And he's talking to Cap too. And
yeah,
interesting thing is Nick Fury can't figure out why he hasn't seen any secrets and stuff, and he everybody else has, and he finds out Cap kind of has, but Cap's keeping a lid on it.
Yeah, he's not going to talk about it.
Yeah, so he's like, that's not the mission at this time, and
maybe because Nick only has one eye, or
yeah, maybe.
Maybe because of my theory from before.
That's possible.
But he's talking to the eye and stuff, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Picking it up, which I wouldn't do. I don't think I'd even have it on the desk next to me. I'd probably have it locked up in a cage somewhere, or at least a glass bubble.
Yeah.
And then we get the reveal that actually shocked me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this at all. We're back with the Gamora, Moon Knight, and Winter Soldier team. And, they're checking it out, the planet, and Winter Soldier gets a bullet and realizes that, hey, somebody was shooting at the planet. Yeah. Which wasn't that shocking, but when you find out who the planet is, it's really shocking. They killed Ego.
Or was it Ego, or was it like a planet like Ego?
No, I think it must have been Ego. It would have had to have been Ego, wouldn't it? Isn't he the only really living planet out there right now?
It's the only one I know of.
Yeah. So they killed Ego. I mean, his eyes are rolled back in his big planet head and everything. So, essentially Ego got blown away. They don't name him by name because none of these characters would know who he is. But Nova probably would, or the helmet would probably tell him who it was. But, they get to that point, and Bucky has the bullet. So that was pretty shocking. Mm-hmm. And then Bucky does something really, really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, they're talking about all this.
They're talking about all this, and they're like, Bucky, where'd you go? Then we hear that ominous beep, beep, beep that you always hear before something blows the hell up.
Yeah. And then the ship goes kaboom.
Oh, it goes big kaboom. I mean, you thought the kaboom was big over Watcher's house.
Yeah, this was...
This thing dismantled the ship and, most of the acreage around it.
Yeah. And Bucky's gone, and he's left Gamora and Moon Knight stranded on the planet.
On the planet, yeah. And then we're back to Nick talking to the eyeball.
Yeah.
And then who shows up on the teleportation thing, which I didn't even know they had, but Bucky.
Yeah. And he just... Nick Fury's like, what are you doing? And bam! He shoots him dead in the chest.
Blows him almost away with just that shot.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the heck he's kind of using there. This is a heck of a gun, whatever it is, because he puts a big old hole in him, and
when he shoots, if you notice, it's got kind of like atom rings surrounding it.
Yeah, exactly. And at one point he blows off Nick's hand.
Yeah, he's reaching for the gun, and
So it's not a. So it's not a regular gun. This is definitely some sort of thing.
Yeah.
And no more turning a blind eye, which is kind of a bad joke.
Yeah.
And then Fury goes, Bucky, I never liked you, you son of a... and
Shunk.
Shunk, which is the obligatory sound for your head has got cut off.
Yes, because when we get the last page, big splash page reveal, it's Bucky standing there, holding the eye in one hand, holding Nick Fury's cut off head in the other.
Yeah.
And he says, no more secrets.
Yeah, which is... it's just too weird. This one was way out in left field.
This, I totally didn't see coming, no pun intended. No. That was like, my jaw dropped when I saw that happen. It was like, I like you, I know what you were thinking, and I was like, that has to be what happened here, LMD.
Yeah, I'll say, I think it's a life model decoy.
But still, before that even registered in my head, though, it was just the shock of that happening. And then I was like, once I thought about it for a second, I was like, oh, well, yeah, surely, maybe.
Maybe. Well, maybe. Or, as we also mentioned kind of off record, Marvel has already pretty much established the African-American Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Which I guess in continuity is this Nick's son.
Right.
So, maybe this is once and for all getting old Nick Fury out of the way.
Yeah, I can't see that sticking,
I don't think they
though.
do. Yeah. I don't think they will, or I don't think they'll do it. I'm still kind of leaning towards life model decoy. Or
which would explain why he didn't get any secrets revealed, too, like you were hinting at.
Yeah, that's my thought, because, even he said it. His secrets have secrets. So for him not to see anything,
right?
I mean, he's always been kind of a cold, calculating dude, but for him not to see anything, or not for it to even register for him other than some sort of physical attack, is weird.
Yeah.
And, the last thing, seriously, with the codpiece on Bucky, come on. looks like a frickin' mask off of one of the Star Wars characters.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that either.
Yeah, that's a serious codpiece, dude. I mean, are you, what's that word? When you buy the flashy car or the big house or something.
I have it right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, me too. But I think people know what
I'm
overcompensating. Yeah, are you overcompensating much there, pal? I mean, you already got a big gun on your back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really, really kind of powerful scene. Even if it is an LMD, it's still a real powerful scene. And that's kind of where it leaves us. And then we have to go off into the individual sunsets, at least for right now.
Until the next issue. I mean, this one just came out, so.
Yeah. So we had to wait a while for that. And then, you get the weird, and interesting little, things from various other comics.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's interesting that something this big happens at this stage. The main series is 8 issues, so we're at issue 3, and we've already got something major like that happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me personally, this is the most excited I've been about a Marvel event in a long time.
Yeah, it actually feels like an event, unlike most of their other ones, which, have kind of been, they started out with promise, but then they kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And then, we even get a teaser for the next one. You've got Doctor Strange trying to subdue the Hulk, and Punisher essentially just shooting the heck out of Wolverine. So,
yeah.
And with the words "trust no one" at that point. So,
yeah, because now the secrets are out there, and everything's gonna go crazy because people, who knows? Like we talked about the Iron Man Hulk thing.
Yeah.
So we don't know what these secrets are, but it's gonna be interesting finding out.
Yeah, well, you even see some of that. I mean, the invaders, with the issue things they're showing, the invaders apparently have some nuclear secret that they're hiding or something. Yeah. Dazzler dressed like Jimi Hendrix with Deadpool. I have no idea what he's supposed to be going on there. Looks like Ben either trying to kill Johnny or finding Johnny killed.
Yeah, with Deadpool, one of the interesting things with that is I know that it's kind of been revealed that he killed his parents, which we didn't know.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. There's some interesting threads out there with this, and this feels like an event that really could change different aspects of the entire Marvel universe, which is always kind of exciting and kind of makes you skeptical a little bit. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping this time that it actually is a change.
Yeah.
In some ways, that like the Heroic Age was supposed to be a change, but nothing came of it. And
right. Even Inhuman, that kind of fizzled out and disappeared.
Yeah, Inhumanity fizzled out.
Inhumanity, yeah.
Yeah, it fizzled out into nothing. I'm a little intrigued to see what the heck is going on in Avengers, because it looks like Black Widow is, and the shards of a lot of female characters from Avengers past are kind of breaking away. So it'd be interesting to see what's going on with that.
Yeah, I heard the last issue of that series was really good. I hadn't been reading it because I think I read like the first 5 issues maybe, and I didn't like where they were going. I didn't like the stories at all. I'm not a huge Hickman fan anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last issue did kind of tie into this whole thing, and I heard it was really good, so.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited about this. I love this story. I love murder mysteries anyway. But, with all these secrets coming out and all these twists and turns and, big reveals like this, I don't know. It's got me hooked, so.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it did hook me, because I was thinking, oh, here we go with another,
right. Yeah.
Another Marvel disappointment, but I'm really surprised how quickly it grabbed me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could definitely see this being a thing.
Yeah. I think the reason it grabs us is because, for one, it's something different.
Yeah.
Instead of the same old, okay, let's take 2 factions of the Marvel Universe, pit them against each other, or take them into some cosmic fight. Stuff like that they keep doing over and over again. It's something different. It's harkening back to classic stories. So it's giving you that classic Marvel feel, classic Marvel characters. It's the mystery part of it. And it's,
yeah, definitely.
Not knowing what's going to happen next and that kind of thing, not being able to read or predict what's coming, which you pretty much can with the other events. So I think it's got a lot of pluses for it.
Yeah, you definitely don't think of a big cosmic story having a murder mystery aspect to it.
Yeah. So that's an interesting twist. I love this story, and I love this issue, this last issue, issue 3, because of that big reveal. It's just, I love surprises. Yeah. Yeah,
usually they don't, and I'm all prepared for it to be Bucky being controlled and whatever.
Well, sure,
which he seems to get controlled a lot, poor guy. But I'm all for that being the deal and him not necessarily being the bad guy this time out because of all the trouble Marvel's gotten into to make him a viable character.
Exactly.
But which I guess is also part of the shocking thing that now he's kind of one of the anti-heroes in the universe. So It'd be a little strange for them to take him full on bad guy.
I still kind of think, not to cut you off, but I still kind of think it's so early in the event right now that this could be a total red herring too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It almost have to be because it's so early to reveal the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like you knew that. Well, obviously that Orb couldn't have been the mastermind behind this because those words don't even go together in your mouth. Orb and mastermind. Unless you're talking about, two lame Marvel characters. I think there's a much larger thing going on here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or what would be cool that there's really a much smaller thing going on here somewhere. That, it's not some big cosmic villain that's doing this, but it's some villain that we never really thought of, but that has always had the potential to be this big, kind of world-changing villain. And I can't name somebody off the top of my head at the moment,
Do you think there is any chance of it being a hero?
And there's always a chance, but honestly, I can't see why take out the Watcher. Really, the only people who have had major interactions with the Watcher would be the Fantastic Four. Now, Reed Richards is kind of conspicuous by his absence in this. I mean, they've said Reed says, Reed confirms, Reed does this. We have yet to see Reed.
True.
At any of the battles, or Sue or Johnny for that matter. We've just seen Thing because, he's an Avenger too. So that may be the reason they're just doing Avengers here, but.
Yeah.
But, they're the only ones who really had major things with the Watchers other than the more cosmic more cosmic heroes like Nova.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it couldn't end up being Nova's dad, which would be a complete, why? I don't understand. Explain it to me, sort of moment. But
right. Yeah, I would not like that because
or
that's
Richard Rider or anybody.
Yeah, that's interesting because Richard Rider is coming back, by the way.
Yeah, so it could be him, maybe, or
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not.
And I love that.
I'm not the encyclopedia. Yeah. I'm not the encyclopedia of Marvel that a lot of people we know are. But I mean, it could possibly be. I can't think of someone off the top of my head that would benefit from the death of the Watcher. That's my whole thing. Is, I always harken back to the last really good murder mystery comic I read, which was Identity Crisis.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, who benefits?
Exactly.
That was the whole thing there. Who benefits from this particular murder? And I don't really see anyone benefiting yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which in its own way makes the story that much better because I can't point to it and go, oh, that's going to be, whoever.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's going to be that person. That's doing all this because, if they make it like Thanos or something like that, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Because, it's too obvious. It's like, oh, I'm courting death and I will not be watched while I'm courting death and, whatever. Yeah, I'll be real disappointed if it's something like that. But, that's why I'm thinking that the potential for it being, we're expecting it to be some big cosmic sort of thing that you have to take out the Watcher first to do all this other stuff, and they have the other eyeball because of, whatever reason, and they didn't care about the second eyeball, and that's how the Orb got it, and, whatever. But I almost kind of want it to be some small thing that it's just one guy's who happened to know about the Watcher for whatever reason. Yeah. One guy's thing, that's like, hey, this is something I wanted and it's what I'm doing. And, the fact that it's completely screwed up the entire Marvel universe, doesn't matter to me because, I'm getting the thing I always wanted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that they're looking into sharpshooters on Earth kind of points to that too. So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I love about it, though. That's all I can say. I don't know, and I love that aspect. So.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I haven't been able to figure out a story in the first 5 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I miss that. I miss that being surprised thing because I haven't been in a long time.
Exactly.
By a comic.
Yeah, that's another reason I really love the story so far. Now, it is a Marvel event, which means it could peter out.
Blow up and fizzle. Yeah.
It could. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it won't, though.
We could have seen the most interesting parts, and it ends up being a Spider-Man clone or something, or Doc Ock or Spider-Man body or something like that.
Don't say that. That would be so bad.
Oh, it would be horrible, but the potential's there because as often as Marvel does well, they also screw up. So
yeah, but so far this is very well. So. High marks from us here on Zone 4.
Yes, indeed.
And I think because of how much we enjoyed this, at least John and I, if not on a regular episode, maybe we'll do an extra just talking about the rest of the series as it comes along, as long as we're enjoying it. Yeah. So.
Oh, even if, it ends up getting sad and stuff, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll definitely talk about how they screwed it up. We're not above that.
Yeah. But we've been going for a while here, so I think we pretty much covered everything since to this point. So we'll do what we do, and we won't really go around the table. We'll go across the table this time and see what we've got coming out, and going on. And of course, John, let's start with you.
It'll be a short one.
Okay.
I'm still coloring Jor Elvis, and it's as kooky as it sounds for Dave R. I'm about halfway through coloring pages for him right now. I'm still going to do the solo steampunk project called Bound for Pangaea Island, which will be in the Steampunk Originals number, I forget. I'll say number 7, but that's probably wrong. Let's see, other than that, still planning to go to Heroes unless that completely blows up in my face, which, the potential is always there for that. And, of course, I will be at the Derby City Comic Con on June 28th and 29th for all the events, both day and evening. And go check out the website once again. Not only are there names of all the people and stuff, but now the floor plan is up there.
Yes.
The rules for the costume contest is up there. If you are a cosplayer, please make sure you read those thoroughly. You do not want to get bounced out of the contest for doing something stupid. So definitely make sure you go read those thoroughly and don't do any of the things they tell you not to do. Other than that, doing that crazy comic-related thing every week. So go check us out at comicrelated.com. You will see the story stylings of myself, Mr. Fowler, and of course Chuck Moore, and our latest regular contributor, Decapitated Dan.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'm planning to do it, but I haven't yet. I'm planning to get back into art book reviews on the old Comic Related, so check that out coming soon as I get off my can and actually read an art book.
Awesome. Very cool stuff. All right. For me, I also be, of course, at Derby City Comic Con. And speaking of tables, I will actually be at table C35.
Woohoo!
And I'm actually seated next to our good buddy Eric Radcliffe, who's at C34. So, and I think he's right beside Dirk Manning. So you got all kinds of people that. Dirk Manning has been on Zone 4. Eric Radcliffe, of course, he's been on here. So, kind of a Zone 4 alumni going.
A little bit.
Yeah. And, of course, New Comic Day. since I let her that, and Eric writes it, so we got that. So come down and see us at Derby City Comic Con. Also, in a couple of weeks on June 18th from Monkey Brain Comics,
Monkey Brain!
a new book written by Tim Simmons called Henchman is releasing, lettered by yours truly.
Nice.
So it's a digital release. That's what Monkey Brain does. If they're super successful, maybe it'll get collected and printed by IDW as some of their other stuff does. We'll see. But definitely go check out the first issue once it comes out on June 18th. Let me know what you think. I think it's a fun series. It's about, obviously, superhero henchmen. So, and speaking again of Derby City, at Derby City Comic Con, Chris Charlton of Assailant Comics is debuting technically 6 new books, because 2 of them, one of them's a black and white variant and another one's a second printing, but there actually will be 4 new issues there as well. Black of Heart number 3 is going to debut there. A reprint of, or a second edition of Blackheart number 1. Open Trees Freedom Run number 1 is going to be available both in color edition and black and white variant edition. And 2 issues of Binary Gray, issues 7 and 8. So tons of stuff, all lettered by yours truly. Available from Assailant, debuting at Derby City Comic Con. You can check them out at assailantcomics.com if you want to find out more about the books they do. And for next week's show, we are going to be getting the band back together, the originals, so to speak. Well, sort of.
Nearly original.
Nearly original. You were on with what, like episode 4, 5? Something?
Yeah, something like that.
So
I was, I'm like Captain America, I was retroactively made a founder.
Exactly. There you go.
After the Hulk left.
Right. So if you don't know what that means, well, I'll just go ahead and put it out there now. Next week, Carrie Kelly is going to be back. John, of course, we mentioned me,
Yes.
and Chuck Kennedy is returning to the show. First time in I don't even know how long.
You have been warned.
But Chuck Kennedy is coming back to Zone 4. Don't know how often at this point, but he's definitely going to be on next week's show with Carrie, John, and myself as the originals, or pseudo-originals, return. So it should be a fun time. If you're a fan of the old, episodes of Zone 4, you're going to get that kind of vibe from us.
That craziness, once again.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So
we apologize to the French beforehand.
And everybody else.
And everyone else.
But it's going to be a blast. So tune in next week, episode 273 for that. But I think it's going to wrap us up.
That should be it.
Yeah. So, am I reading this out this week?
Unless you want something silly again, I could do Sling Blade.
Okay, let's go with that.
All right, here we go.
We'd like to thank our sponsors once again. Derby City Comic Con, taking place June 28th and 29th in Louisville, Kentucky. Go to their website, www.derbycitycomiccon.com, and Sidekicks, coming to a digital storefront near you soon. We'd also like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Wall Band, and Society's Plague that you hear on the show each and every week. And if you have any comments, questions, and suggestions, keep them to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Send those to Zone 4 at comicrelated.com. We're proud members of the Comic Related Podcast Network, and as always, thank you for listening. You're now leaving Zone 4.
Zone 4, brought to you by 2 guys from Kentucky, sort of.
Yeehaw!
Even though neither one of us were
stereotype. Yeah, neither one of us were born here. Both of us live in actual cities. Both of us have shoes. I've never dated relatives. Whatever.
That's true.
Whatever other stereotype you want to throw at us, we don't fit it. So
there you go.
So there.
That's all we got to say about that.
That's all.
Come back now, you hear?
About that. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Bye, everybody.
This is only a test for the X-Men.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.